most of us, our house is the most valuable thing that we own. So when it comes time to sell your house, it is a big deal. And it's a big deal for multiple reasons, right? Certainly you have a lot of memories. That place has become very special to you. But also, you've invested a lot, not just in what you've paid in your mortgage, but also the different improvements that you've made to the property. So when it comes time to sell, you want to make sure that you are getting maximum return on the investment that you've made. It is a big deal when you decide it's time to sell your home. And that's for multiple reasons, right? One, just because our homes take on a lot of sentimental value. We've made a lot of memories there. A lot of life happens within the walls of a home. But also because you've invested a lot of money, a lot of time into your home, not just in mortgage payments, but also in the improvements that you've made to the property, the deck or the siding or the new roof or kitchen remodel, whatever it is that you've done to the house, big or small, you've invested yourself into that place. So when it comes time to sell, you want to make sure that you're going to get the maximum return on your investment. And you want to make sure that the home is appreciated by the new homeowners as much as possible for all of the reasons that you have loved it. And because it's such a big deal to sell your home, who you hire to help you sell it and realize its maximum value matters a ton. And that's what I want to share about in this video. Hey y'all, I'm Nick Offenkamp with the Tartan team, part of Real Broker. I'm a licensed agent here in Washington State, and the purpose of this channel is to help you see why Clark County, Washington is, I think, the best place on the planet to live. Am I biased? Probably, but here I want to share local insights, the different neighborhoods that I love, the different trends that I see happening in the market, as well as just, what are some of the best coffee shops and gyms and grocery stores, all the things that you might want to know about living in this area. But the purpose of this video in particular is to talk about what it looks like to work with me when you go to sell your house. Because selling your house is such a big deal, I figure something like this would be helpful as you're thinking about the different agents that you may want to hire to help you. Now, first and foremost, there is a question of when you go to sell your home, should you hire a real estate agent? And now my bias is going to be super obvious. Of course, I think that the answer is yes. That's why I'm in the profession that I'm in. But it's the why that really matters. And frankly, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't feel like I provided value in the real estate transaction. In fact, I want to provide more value than what I earn in commission from the sale of your home. And I know it's always uncomfortable to bring up that C word, but I think it's fair to address. As real estate agents, that commission can be a really big number for what to most seems like a pretty easy transaction. And of course, we do hope that the transaction is easy. We want it to be as stress-free and smooth as possible. But it's kind of like watching a professional basketball player. They make it look so easy because of the 10,000 hours that they've spent in the gym. And that's what the best real estate agents do as well. They make smooth and easy transactions look that way because of all of the time that they've spent learning and because of all of the things that they're doing behind the scenes to make the transaction go as well as possible. So there's a lot of things that you don't see that a real estate agent should be doing for you that makes it well worth bringing someone like myself on board when you're going to sell your house. In fact, that's really what I want to guarantee. I don't know how exactly to put a guarantee or a dollar amount on that, but it's like I want to be able to guarantee that I am going to return more in value to you than what I get paid for the work that I do. That's the value proposition that I want to bring to the relationship. And that's really what the agency relationship is. You're looking for someone who has your very best interest at heart always, and they're looking to get the top dollar and the best terms on your behalf for your home. What does it look like for us to work together? You're thinking about selling your house. Somehow I popped up on your feed or somebody said, hey, you should call Nick. Well, where do we start? Okay. The first place that we're going to start is just by talking, just by getting to know each other a little bit, because I really want to get as good of an understanding as possible about who you are and what your motivations are in selling your home, because it's different for every single seller. For some people, it is all about price. How do I get the top dollar? For others, it's, hey, my job is relocating me to the other side of the country and we got to move quick. And so I need the best terms. I need a deal that's for sure going to close, and it's got to happen fast. Well, that's going to require a different approach. And so I want to be able to tailor make the approach based upon your unique needs. I also want to hear your perspective on your home, not just the facts and figures, all the things that I can find on the GIS or looking on the MLS about your home. Yeah, those things are important. Buyers are going to want to know how many bedrooms and how many square feet. We'll get into that. But more than anything, I want to know what makes the home so special to you. What did you love about it? What makes it hard to leave? I want to know what the story is, some of your favorite memories in the home, because the more that I can develop an emotional connection to your home and understand what's made you love it, that's going to have a huge, huge impact on the way that I market your home. Because real estate, especially residential real estate, it's more emotional than it is logical. Now, people are going to try and rationalize the price that they want to pay for a home. But the reality is that if somebody falls in love with a home, they're going to pay whatever they can in order to obtain that home. It is far more emotional than it is rational. And so because of that, I want to know, what was it that made you fall in love with the home? What kept you in love with it as the years went on, so that I can do my very best job to portray that to future buyers in the ways that we talk about, the language we use, the pictures and video that we get, essentially the story that we tell about your home. Because the goal is to get somebody to fall in love with your house. So a lot of our first interactions are just talking, just getting to know one another. And through that process as well, the hope is that we develop a trust, a true relationship that we have with one another, where there's great communication. We understand as best as possible in a short amount of time the kind of communication that works best, whether that's email or phone calls or texts, the kind of hours that work best, what I can do to really tailor the whole listing and experience to your unique personality and needs. Once we've had that conversation, then I want to get together, whether we've had that conversation on your property or not. The next step is for me to really get some good eyes on your home. I want to walk around it and I want to approach it like a buyer would. I want to go through essentially with a little bit of a critical eye. I want to look for the things that stand out to me, any sort of yellow or red flags that I might have as a buyer, any of the things that would be a detraction. And I do that not because I want to, diss on your home or make you feel bad about anything, but because one of the best ways that I can serve you is to give you a realistic picture of what other buyers and their agents are going to see as they come through a home. Because again, just as it's an emotional thing for the buyers, it's also, if we're honest, an emotional thing for you as well. You're going to attribute more sentimental value to your home than anybody else, which causes you to look past some of the shortcomings of the house or some of the deferred things that you've been meaning to get around to, but you just haven't. As an example of this, my wife and I, in one of our previous homes, we were going to repaint our dining room. And so we put 3 different paint samples up on the wall. And then life got busy and we went like 2 months with just 3 different paint samples on the wall. And by the end of those couple of months, I didn't even notice those paint samples on the wall anymore, because it had just become part of that room. I didn't have eyes for it. And so that's what I'm trying to do as I come through. I want to be a fresh set of eyes that can point things out for your good on your behalf, so that we're not surprised by things when buyers and their agents come through and we start to get feedback of, oh, there's 3 random splotches of paint on the dining room wall. What's up with that? Okay, I know that's an extreme example, but you get the idea. Then I'm also going to do a comparative market analysis. I'm going to look at what's on the market right now that's comparable to your home, what's gone pending, and then I'm also going to look at what has recently sold. And the priority that I put on those findings is, okay, the most important is what has sold and how recently and what did it close for, because that's the most objective proof of what buyers are willing to pay for a similar home to yours. The next most valuable piece of information is what's gone pending. What was either part of the marketing plan or part of what made that home unique so that it went pending compared to the other ones that are still active on the market. That'll also give us a good idea of what people are willing to pay for a home. And then for anything that's still active, I may tour it, I may call the listing agent just to find out more information about the feedback that they're getting from buyers, ideas on why they priced it the way that they did. I'm going to gather as much feedback as I can so that I can sit down with you and give you, to the best of my ability, an objective look at, hey, this is what I think somebody is most likely willing to pay for your home. This is what I think the market dictates the value of it is. Now, you'll probably hear a lot of realtors say, your home is only worth what somebody else is willing to pay for it. And there's a logic to that, but at the end of the day, really the ball is in your court. Your home is only worth as much as you're willing to accept for it. I'm never going to twist your arm or make you feel like you've got to price your house, way, way lower than what you're comfortable with. Because of some statement of that, well, this is what buyers are willing to pay. You have the ultimate control and say, but the one caveat I'll make is that the biggest mistake people make when going to sell their home is listing it too high. And so that's where I'm going to give you my objective take on what I think realistically the house should sell for. And then I'll give you my marketing strategy. Marketing strategy sounds so formal. I want to give you my take based upon your goals. And so if the idea is that you're wanting to get that blend of top dollar and for the home to sell quickly, well, then I'm going to recommend we price your home just a little bit under market value. Now, that number still needs to be something that you would be okay with accepting if you got a full price offer. I don't ever want to list a home that's way below what you would ever be willing to accept for the house, but I want to list it a little bit lower than what the market dictates that it's worth. And the reason that I want to do that is because, one, most people set their searches on the what they feel the high end of their comfort level is, and so the lower the price of the house, the more eyeballs you're going to get on the home. Let's say you want $1.1 million for your home. Well, a lot of people set their search at 1 million, and so if they set their search at 1 million, they might rule out your house, even though they could go up as high as 1.2 million if they were willing to stretch their budget for the perfect home for your home. So there's a strategy in that, okay, if you would be willing to accept $1 million for your home, then that's probably where we should list it so that we capture all of those people who are looking up to $1 million so that we get more traffic coming through. More eyeballs leads to more showings. I also always do open houses, so more eyeballs leads to more people attending those open houses, especially if we can get a lot of attention over the opening weekend. Having that sort of frenzy of buyers coming through shows prospective buyers that, hey, this is a hot, attractive house, which confirms a number of things. There's the social proof of just that this is a place that's highly desirable in people's minds. And it also means when I go to sell this, I'm not going to have nearly as difficult of a time. And then it also says, I'm going to be as competitive as I can possibly be if I put an offer in on this place. So that's really, really what we want. We want for people to put in those competitive offers because that's going to get you top dollar. People are going to say, this is the max that I have in my budget, and that's what I'm willing to spend on this home, even if that's well above the list price. It also means they're going to give you the most favorable terms. That could be flexibility in closing dates. That could be shorter contingency periods. That could just be greater and greater assurances that these are the most qualified buyers so that we can see the transaction through. I love listing a home with the strategy of trying to drive multiple offers. Now, there is some risk to that, right? We could list, you want 1.1 million, but we listed it $1 million, and for whatever reason, you know, that opening week, the weather's terrible, a snowstorm comes in, and we don't get the kind of showings or traffic that we had hoped for. And let's just say that we get one offer at the end of a week that's a full price offer for $1 million. Well, then what do? And that's where we just have a conversation about it. You don't have to accept any offer that is made to you, but when you get a full price offer, you really should consider accepting it unless there's a very clear, obvious reason why not. That's why I don't ever recommend listing at something less than you would actually be willing to take for your home. So that can be a potential downside, right? Is that you're hoping for 1.1 million, we list below that, and it doesn't get bid up to where you want it.